told me to tell you hello. Whoa, excuse me. I did not mean to do that. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Very special time here this afternoon at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jeff Gordon has joined us, and he's the driver of the number 24 3M Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And Jeff, you know, Charlotte Motor Speedway is in the home stretch of their Jeff's Last Ride, a 24-day salute campaign, which has really been a daily tribute to one of the icons in our sport. Video tributes, memorable moments posted on social media, a Paint the Town 24 effort all over Charlotte in this region. And Jeff, how does that make you feel? I know, and I've read that you probably won't hit you until Homestead, Miami, but knowing that this area here with where you've lived for many, many years is you know, rallying the entire region to give you some tribute. How does that make you feel personally, just to see that much support here?
Oh, it makes me feel incredible. It's really overwhelming. You know, it takes me back to that first time when I came to Charlotte for the first time. I was actually on my way out to Rockingham to drive, you know, those cars at a Buck Baker driving school. But I came by here knowing that the Speedway was here and wanted to see it, and I was so impressed driving by this place. You know, it's just not many speedways that have the look of this one from the road, and it was something really cool to see, and hard to believe now, what's that, 25 years later or more, that now I come driving into the track today and here's this huge sign with my name on it, number 24, and you know, that kind of a tribute, as well as last night at the Hall of Fame was really special, seeing all the cars that you know, I had a chance to drive over the years. It got me here, and the ones that that I was able to do some special things with since I've been here, and also, you know, to know that my first victory came here. So there's always been something very special about Charlotte, about this racetrack, and I hope that this final ride here will do something special as well.
Just a couple of stats, nuggets of interest about Jeff here at Charlotte. 1992, he swept the Xfinity Series races here at Charlotte. You got 3 Sprint All-Star wins, 3 Coca-Cola 600 wins, as you alluded to, your first ever Sprint Cup Series win, 94. 2 Bank of America 500 wins, and 9 Sprint Cup Series poles here at Charlotte. That's second all-time only to David Pearson. So this is you've built quite an impressive resume at this racetrack. We'll take questions now for. Well, let me ask you one though first, Jeff. You know, you've won here a bunch. I tell you what though, you win here Saturday night, and you get to go on to the eliminator round. I mean, you don't have to worry about Talladega. You don't have to worry about Kansas. How is that playing into the equation here?
That could possibly be one of the biggest moments I've ever had to Charlotte if we do that, because I think a lot of us look at this round. Certainly you look at who's running fast, like a guy like Kevin Harvick, and the chance of them winning over these next couple of weeks is pretty high. But you know that if you get a victory here this weekend, the relief that you're going to feel, and you know, to not have to go to Talladega, to not even, you know, have to worry about Kansas, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Not to mention, I've been saying all year long, you know, if we can make it to round 3, I think our chances of making it to Homestead are actually very, very good. Not because we've been running spectacularly, it's because Martinsville is on the schedule. And Martinsville is a track I feel like we can always go to no matter what and have a shot at winning that race. So this is a big weekend for everybody, but certainly that would be monumental, I guess the way to put it, if we could go to victory lane there.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll take questions here. We'll go with Tom, Claire, and then we'll head over here to this side.
Hi, Jeff. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. It's always difficult when you have day practice for a night race, but you were sixth in the first session today. How do you feel having spent an hour and a half out on the track?
Man, I'm used to being 26th in practice here during the day. So the track had a tremendous amount of grip in it. It's sort of a haze, so it's a nice, kind of fairly cool day. So track conditions were spectacular. I thought the team's done an excellent job of the car. That's why we were up there, and I feel like we can get a little bit more out of it. So, we're very encouraged by how we ran at Chicago. We didn't qualify at Chicago, but I feel some similarities as far as the grip level and the speed of the car for this weekend, and I'm excited about that. We weren't the fastest one. And just like in practice in Chicago, we were needing a little bit of speed here and there, but the car has that feel. It has something in it that is giving me confidence and allowing me to push the limits of it a little bit more. We just got to get the balance and get it right for the night race and for qualifying tonight. It's going to be fast, though. It's going to be really fast tonight.
Go to Claire, and we'll take two here, and then we'll go to Big Mike in the middle.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. The pictures of you at the Hall of Fame with your kids was really cool as they were inside the car. And you talked when you got into all of this about what your kids thought about you telling them you were going to be saying this was your last year. But how are they enjoying communicating, thinking, and playing through all of this every single week and all the special things that are happening?
Yeah, I can't say it really phases them at all. They're more, they're 8 and 5. They're more interested in what they're doing. But I think my daughter Ella, if anything, has a little bit of a grasp on it. I think it was for them that was just like they just want to play all the time and play games and do fun things. And last night was a lot of fun because they got to go do something different and jump in and out of all these cars, and it was cool to see. Certainly I enjoyed seeing all those cars, but then seeing them get in and out of them. But it was pretty obvious to me when I saw them get into, I think it was the Dirt Champ car, I was like, no, their racing career, as far as if I have anything to do with it, is not going to go any further than quarter midgets. It's just, I could not handle seeing my child in the car that's just all engine like that. So, but yeah, I don't think that they really can put it into perspective from their side of things, because I'm just dad to them. I'm not. Yes, they see that on the weekends at the racetrack, but most of their life they're just seeing, us at home.
Let's take two over here, and then we'll go to Mike. Go ahead, right there. These two right here.
I'm Aaron Burns with Speed Sport. Jeff, I grew up coming to races here as a kid in the 1990s, and the most dominant race I saw at that time was you drove the T-Rex car to victory in the Winston in 1997. I'm just curious, what do you remember about that whole weekend and about your dominance in that race and what it meant to you? And also, can you talk about your relationship with Exalta and what it means to you that they're staying in NASCAR and going to Dale Jr.?
Yeah, so the whole T-Rex, car came about. It's an interesting, and I know it's amazing that it still has a storyline this far along or far into the future from when that happened. But we had a guy named Rex Stump who came from GM, who was a designer. He worked with Ray and a lot of other individuals, and they looked at the rule book. What I remember is them just going through the rule book and just reading it in detail over and over and over and over and over again, just trying to find every little area that they could maximize the potential of the car that could maybe find a little bit of extra grip or find a little bit more better aerodynamic balance. And they did all those things, and they did it for the Winston because you couldn't even take the rear gear out of that car. It just because the way that they built everything so tight in the tolerances that it wasn't and we used to change rear gears back in the day, and so we didn't ever feel like, or if you had a problem, right, you have to change it. So we didn't feel like it was a car we could take to a points race, but we wanted to try it in a non-points race, and if it worked, then we'd try to tweak on it to incorporate some of those things on our car in the future. Well, then we went and won all three segments, and it was obviously a huge hit, and it happened to be sponsored by Jurassic Park with a T-Rex on the hood. So Rex Stump, T-Rex, and then the dominance of that car. But I think what everybody really remembers about it is the way NASCAR reacted to it, and there's some speculation on all that. There's nothing illegal about that car, not until they changed rules in the rule book to make it illegal. And that's pretty cool. I think, to me, if you're a crew chief or an engineer or designer, one of the greatest things you can do is see rules change in the rule book because of something you did on a car. I think that speaks volumes about the ingenuity that you have and that you put into it. As far as Exalta, I'm excited about Exalta. Right now is doing some amazing things. They are fully committed. Their business is thriving, and they're doing more marketing and sponsorship and having more growth than I've ever seen, and that's exciting to see right now. And that's a company I've been involved with for my entire career, and yet they're because they were bought out by Carlisle, and they went public. They've got a lot of new people that are just taking it to a whole nother level, and it's exciting. And obviously I'm going to continue on with them from a personal services role and representative, but to know that they are going to continue to be on Dale Jr.'s car, I think it's great for them, great for Dale Jr. He's going to have a lot of fun working with them, and most importantly, I think it's just great to have a sponsor right now that's that committed to our sport, and really in it for the long term, not just a short period of time.
Take one more here, and then we'll go to Stan, and then to Dave right here.
Hey, Jeff, Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. I looked through the list of Charlotte Motor Speedway and everything, and there seemed to be one thing missing from that list. 1990, Charlotte Motor Speedway, your very first attempt in anything in the world of NASCAR, right here, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And not a great qualifying, right?
Well, it rained, so we didn't get to qualify.
Martinsville, for that. You were in a last 20 lap
same
qualifier?
thing. Yeah, same thing here. It rained here. We practiced. We're pretty quick. Rained here. We did the last chance race, and our wrecked, which was a real theme for a long time. Fast but wrecked, and then we went to Rockingham, sat on the outside front row, and then we went to and wrecked 23 laps in, I think, something like that, and then went to Martinsville and blew an engine in the last chance race because it rained qualifying there as well. But this was the first place I ever tested a stock car at, and it was that Outback Steakhouse Pontiac, as well as the first place I tested a Cup car as well. Was here. So that was actually for Cale Yarborough. A lot of people don't realize that.
Let's go over here in the middle of Mike. We'll go over here to David. Go ahead.
Jeff, Mike Solarte, Time Warner Cable News. With the races clicking down with just 7 left in the season, how hard is it for you to separate the emotion of that last checkered flag and going and jumping in the car and doing your job and chasing the title? I mean, you're still very much alive with these races to go.
Yeah, I get moments. There's just moments where something happens. Just like a couple weeks ago, or when we broke the streak for the Ironman thing. I mean that meant a lot to me, and that I felt the emotion of that day. And certain things, if I see a video and some old clips and some different things, then it might hit me a little bit then. But man, once I get to the racetrack, it's just all the focus is on the race car and the race team. There's no doubt if we walk out of here Saturday night with a win, that would be extremely emotional. It's just like there's just these moments where it hits you, and it just hits me, all at once. And that's why I anticipate that's going to happen at Homestead on race day, whether it's before the race or during or after the race. But so far at the racetrack, I guess I just haven't allowed my mind to go there because I'm just so focused on trying to be as competitive as I can be, to give the best I can to the team, and because I want to end this season on a positive note. I want to get a win. Our fans want us to get a win. and our team is, wants that win and been working hard for that. And if we can win a championship or find our way to Homestead, I think that'd be huge as well.
Go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, David Wisnett with WBTV. Thanks for the memories, first of all.
Thank you.
Ran into a fan in the garage area, drove here from Scranton, Pennsylvania to be here today and to be here for the race. He's been with you since the beginning. Just thinks the world of you and was very bittersweet about being here just because of what it represents. Just anything you'd like to say to not just that fan, but all the fans that he's represented over the last 20 plus years.
Well, that's been the greatest thing about this season, and it's been, I've been torn this year because on track things have not gone the way that I had hoped and that our team had hoped, or our fans. But off the track, spending time with fans, whether it's one-on-one interaction with them and hearing some of their comments about whether, how long they've been following me, how they feel about me retiring, or how they feel about if I'm no longer going to be out on the track, how they're going to feel about NASCAR race. I mean, all these different things that have been, put a huge smile on my face and made me really proud of all the things, that I've accomplished in the sport and the fans that I've built. So, if I just measured this year by that, by social media, by the media themselves and the articles and the fans, this would be the best year I've ever had in NASCAR.
Let's go over here to Hill, to your left.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing? It's been good following your career from day one. In fact, let's go back to when I first heard of you. A fellow named Buck Baker told me about you, and he said, I got this little, I guess he meant sweet old boy. He said, this little SOB that's at my driving school.
That sounds like Buck.
He said, everybody was.
He probably called me that, too, to my face.
And me, too. I worked for him. But he said, I've got this little, this guy said, he is really good. He's going to be a driver. You watch him, Bill. All these years later, here you are. Thanks so much for all the memories and everything you've done. And just looking back, what is the most significant accomplishment that you can think of that you've achieved?
Yeah, thank you. And, I'm still shocked. I mean, when I went to Buck Baker Driving School, I mean, how often do you hear about somebody today that they went to a driving school, one of these driving schools, and end up getting a career built on that, or straight to the Xfinity Series, and 2 years later are in the Cup Series? So it's just unheard of. And I drove my heart out when I was there, and I really appreciated what Buck and his family, did for me to not only not charge me for the school because we put that on ESPN, and I'm hoping it gave them enough students in the future to pay for that, but also to recommend to Hugh Connerty, who had an Xfinity car there, which ended up being that 67 Outback Steakhouse car, which Hugh's going to be at a Homestead this year. So it's pretty exciting of where it all started from. But to get that opportunity was extremely significant. I guess since then, it's hard to say. So many moments, so many things. I mean, to me, winning the night before the 500 in Indy at IRP in the midget was significant because that opened up a lot of eyes and ears and opportunities because of ESPN and racing there and winning that race and other races on ESPN. Then certainly sitting on the front row at Rockingham was huge because that got Bill Davis and the folks at Ford's attention. And then that race at Atlanta that I won got Rick Hendrick's attention. But since then, I would say certainly that inaugural Brickyard 400 is the most significant. That my life changed dramatically after that race in so many ways. I mean, I was more confident because I knew we could win races and possibly win a championship. We did the next year, and it built the whole team up. It built my brand up, and the rest is kind of history.
Got time maybe for one more question. Anybody else for Jeff Gordon? Right over here. We'll finish to the far right. Go ahead, sir.
Rick Houston, Cartech Books. Actually, two questions. Number one, Ray Evernham was your crew chief on that 67 car. What did you see in him that made you want to continue that relationship in the future? And second, I know you've probably not had a whole lot of time to, look back and reflect, but what would you like for your legacy to be in this sport?
Well, I don't really feel like it's my choice or my decision or I think to me as far as legacy is concerned, I put my heart into what I did on the racetrack, and I did everything I could off the racetrack for the sport, for the fans, for children that are dealing with life-threatening illnesses, and so that was my part. The rest and where that puts me is up to others to decide. As far as Ray Evernham, yeah, I mean, that whole story is just incredible. It started from what I mentioned about Hugh Connerty at Buck Baker Driving School. It just happened that Hugh Connerty was married to Leo Jackson's daughter. Leo Jackson owned, Harry Gant's car, whose crew chief was Andy Petrie, who was friends with Steve Barkdahl. The Barkdahls were the ones that housed that car at their shop and prepared it, and they said, hey, we need a crew chief for this. Andy said, well, I kind of know a guy that's been asking us about a job and trying to get in NASCAR, and he works with the IROC series. Maybe we give him a call, give him a chance. That's Ray Evernham. And all I know is I was fast. Everywhere we went, we were fast. I didn't know what I was doing, had no clue, but I was driving the car. He believed in me, and I believed in him. And then when I went to Bill Davis in '91, Ray did not go with me, and I got the chance to work with another crew chief, and I realized how good Ray was. I just, those guys were good, but I realized Ray was really special in the way we connected and in how we believed in one another, and that's why we brought Ray on in '92, and of course we won some big races, and then that's when Rick Hendrick came along and we decided, hey, let's keep this going a little bit longer, a little further, and see how it goes. But he was the only one that I trusted, I believed in, that I even knew as a crew chief. I knew nobody. I knew nothing. So I was fortunate. I got introduced to one of the best right day one, and did my best to hold on to it as long as I could. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jeff. Good luck this weekend at Charlotte.